I saw you on the stream rewards, Frankie. I think you're doing all right. Kind of sad you weren't in the Power World tournament. I think I'm just, dude, I just don't really want to do any more of like those events. I just don't have a good time a lot of the time. They're just so rough sometimes. The Apex one that I did at Twitch Rivals, man, that really like made me not want to do this ever again. And I was just like, man, I'd rather just do my own one. Like, I like doing it more when it's mine. Because I feel like I can make sure it's fun. And when someone else is arranging these kind of stuff, if it's not someone I don't know, or if a company's arranging it, it's normally like, okay, you know, it's like, all right. And if they're paying me a shit ton, okay. Now we can talk, because now we can start talking about how I can afford a house. But if it's just like, hey, come play games and, you know, you win like $300. Like, okay, cool. Emma's going to give me that in 2 minutes. I'm so embarrassed for that clip. It's a great clip, Frankie. Don't chill. Don't worry about it. So it's just tough. Because, you know, as well, like, sometimes, I think when you have an event, it is so much better to keep the event smaller unless it needs a reason to be big. Like, when you're like, I'm like commentating something. I think from a viewer's perspective, if you're trying to follow like 10 teams, and it's a game that doesn't really lend well, like if it's like a battle royale, it's like, okay, maybe it kind of makes sense, right? Because it's like, okay, I can kind of follow these people, but even then it's kind of tough. If it's a racing game like Mario Kart, a little bit easier, right? Like 10 people, we can follow 10 people. But like the Power World one, I found really hard to follow. Like that was really tough for me to follow. And I felt like that just had too many people in it. And I feel like you can have a much better experience as a viewer if you just half that pool, and then we can get to know the teams and follow the teams a bit better individually. You know? So I think that when I try and do events, I try to make them small so that we can get storylines going. We can form kind of like stories with the teams that we're following, right? And we can have that kind of show. But I think when you have too many people, it's impossible to do that. And you're constantly swapping between to find the interesting thing, and it's just tough. And I think it's also exhausting for a viewer. I think it's I mean, you know. Too many teams. Multiple days are tiring. Multiple days are tough, but a lot of brands often want multiple days, like my Apex thing, right? Like I didn't want that to be multiple days, you know? I mean, I didn't mind it being multiple days, but that was like a thing that normally the brand will ask for, or the sponsors will ask for, because they want multiple days. Why? Because you potentially are reaching a completely different audience, right? Most of the viewers are going to watch both days, right? But a lot of ads or sponsors want to get as many views as possible, so splitting it up means that you get a high chance you'll get way more audience, right? But it means that it's harder to follow for everyone because now you're splitting it up. And then sometimes you see these events that are like 5 days, and that's fine if it's like there's 4 of us or 5 of us, right? And it's like that's easy to follow because we're all super invested and all our audience is invested. It's exciting that it's 5 days. But it needs to be perfect, right? You know, if you are invested, and most importantly, the streamer's invested, you know, that's the most important thing. PogChamps is way too long. I think something like PogChamps is maybe like slightly too long, but I also think that in that format it works because it's a elimination event. Like it's only as long as good as you are, which makes it exciting for as a viewer to follow. Bit of a quake. Seems okay. Like, I think when you watch me in like PogChamps, you get to follow it day by day, right? So if I lose, it's like, all right, I'm done in like 2 streams. But if I'm winning, now the story's suddenly getting more exciting and you can follow it, right? And then it also makes for an amazing YouTube video. I think when you have like a... I definitely feel like it's shaking. Why did I get another spot? Like there. It's crazy. But when you split up into 5 days, the streamers don't really care. Yada, yada, yada. It's really tough to have an event that really works. And so I really, really try to make sure the events that I'm doing or I'm a part of are really exciting for you guys. Because I really don't want you to see me in an event and think, it's kind of lame. So, you know. It just depends. There's a magnitude 4 in Chiba. Okay, I'm chilling. I'm chilling. We're chilling. Love the chess streams. What's another idea? Like, oh, man. I'm just trying to think. It won't be lame because you will be there and everyone would want to watch you. But I feel like the reason why people want to watch is because I try to make sure that stuff I put out is good, right? And I think you need to have that level of like quality control to make sure that you guys enjoy watching it. The reason why you guys have faith in me to make entertaining things. So I do try. I'm saying a lot. That's me thinking. That's me trying to think. Do you want a Google form of stream ideas? I mean, we're going to try. Yeah, I mean, most of them will be bad, but we can try. Stop thinking. I think it's better not to just yap. I should just think sometimes. No? Oh, a great example of like how a good event is formatted. I think that like Germa's house flipper thing, for as scuffed as it is, he does it in like the best way you can, right? Like everyone in their own stream gets to build. It's very easy to swap between POVs and follow, right? And then you have this one segment where everyone comes together and everyone's watching one thing happen, right? So you get the benefit of having multiple streamers. Everyone gets their own POV and everyone has their own storyline. And then that's like a really smart way of doing it because the game lends well to having like 8 people do it. You know, I think for that one, having 4 may be worse because that's just not enough houses, right? But I think when you have 8 people, like more people for an event like that, it makes a lot of sense. So that kind of stuff. And 2v Tuesdays is a great style as well. I think that's like the perfect example of like, this is where, you know, I think if 2v Tuesdays was 6 teams, I think it would be too much, you know? It'd be too much to follow. Or 8 teams, right? So like 4 is the perfect number there. It's all about like finding the right amount of people to make the idea the best. And it's frustrating because sometimes sponsors and whatnot, who we need, often want more people because it means, you know, more names, more streams, more yada yada.